Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, amazing law nerd. It's Wednesday, it's August 26th. It is late in the day Central Time because court didn't start till after 1 p.m. Pacific today, so we are going to be going to court. But today has been a day of lawyers fight with technology, literally all of the technology, but that's okay because we're in trial and we're going to see what happens today. So we're going to roll the intro. I've got a quick thank you to say to the law nerds, and then we are going to get right into court. There are just some tech fights on my end that aren't fun, but hopefully it's going to be fine. It's just going to be fine. Whatever. We're going to go to court and it's all going to be fine. We're going to go to court and it's going to be fine. It's Wednesday. It's fine. It's fine. So let's roll the intro and let's go to court. Hey there, I'm lawyer and legal analyst Emily D. Baker, and this is your go-to destination for live court coverage. I break down the law, the strategy, and the evidence in real time, so you know what's happening. No law degree required. So join the law nerds in the chat. They're here for the facts, not and let's get to court. Oh, I was muted. Emily, your mic. Law nerds. Law nerds. What's up, everybody? All right, a quick thank you to the law nerds. I know it is difficult when there is breaking news when we are streaming. I know that happened yesterday. I know that the mods were super busy. Just the OG law nerds know, but I'm going to just reiterate for our newer law nerds, because one of the things with breaking news is we have had some major things happen while we've been streaming trials that are breaking news. And one of the things is, our law nerds are watching stream all over the place, going about their different days. And so one of the things that is always something I am mindful of is that I don't want to catch our other law nerds sideways when we think we're just watching trial. And I don't shift what we're covering unless it's sometimes a rare new filing in one of our cases, but I don't shift what we are covering, because when I say we're covering one topic, I don't want to catch you sideways in the middle of your day on a topic that's a no for you. And that's something that I, have always treated with respect, and B, you guys all treat with the respect with one another as well. And when there is breaking news, especially breaking news that is going to cause actual grief, it's not something I want to catch you sideways on while you are at the dentist, in the car line, listening in an earbud, in between meetings at work, about to hop on a call, about to have your students walk back into class, about to do whatever's next. And when there are witnesses that are going to be emotional, we can generally see that that's going to happen. And I always let you guys know that it's fine to nope out, and then we'll ping you in the app. But when there is breaking news, it's really hard to nope out because it catches all of us sideways. And when we lose bright lights in the world, it catches us sideways like a gut punch, and it brings up other grief as well. And that's hard for me to recover from while streaming, because sometimes I need a minute. And B, it's hard for y'all to recover from if it comes out of nowhere, because we're just locked in watching stream. And I was heartbroken by the news yesterday. I still am. I'm going to breathe. And that's one of the reasons, one of the many, that we have a no breaking news rule in chat. And I really appreciate it. It's hard. And I really try to make sure that you know when you click onto a stream what we are getting into. And it's one of those things that I sometimes need a minute to process too. I didn't think it was going to be so hard to talk about. I was prepared. I'm still not prepared, but I was prepared. And look, grief compounds grief. And that is one of the reasons we have the rules too, is because it can derail me, and then it makes it very hard for me to get back into what we're covering and actually focus, because then it pulls heart and minds elsewhere. I am absolutely, I'm with you guys are. I'm feeling it with you too. So there are things that just hit. And that is part of the reason we have a no breaking news rule. And it is part of the reason that our mods work so hard. Also, not only is it compassionate to the other law nerds, but it's compassionate to me too, because it's hard and it compounds and it hits today too. So I appreciate it, you guys. I don't think I can talk about that much more today. I was heartbroken yesterday. I'm heartbroken today. And I don't know if there's much more I can say, but look, it's at least today, as I knew I wanted to just talk about a little bit what was lost, and long lives that were brought us quite a lot of joy and will continue to. Sorry, Chad. I didn't try to do the empathetic crying, but there are some things that just hit hard, and I wanted to take a minute today to explain why we do that. And not only the compassion for the other law nerds, but for me too, because it's hard to shift gears if you don't have any time to process the information. And while streaming, truly, I am locked in to what we are doing. I don't have other news up. I don't have other things up. I don't have, unless there's stuff going on with family, my text up. I just lock in with you guys because I want to be present here with you. And so I really do try to not catch myself sideways. And my family and friends also know that. So yesterday when Dolly Parton passed, they weren't texting me until I was done with stream. And I appreciate that too, because I really just want to be here with y'all. And that's always my goal. There's a lot of days that I don't check in on the news before I stream because I just want to be present with y'all and cover what we're covering. And I appreciate that you guys understand that. I figured it was time to just re-explain the rules that we have, because while we're in trial, I really just want to be in trial. But I'm feeling it today too. I'm trying to breathe. It is real rainy and gray today in Middle Tennessee, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, and I know you guys are too. So let's go to court today. We're gonna take a breath. We're gonna add it to the playlist, and we're gonna go to court. So for all of you that are just heavy and sad, yep. However, aren't we so lucky that we're all alive during this time together? Aren't we so lucky? So I feel like we've gotten to cover a trial that has name dropped a shit ton of music. And here we are all together talking about a totally different side of music that we all love too. But is it really different? I mean, yeah, the backing music's different, but it's really people telling stories about their lives. And aren't we all lucky to be touched by that enough that we were gutted by yesterday? Right. Music is good for the soul, but there are some days that it's really hard. There are some days that it's really, really hard because those losses are felt in a really heavy way. All right, law nerds, we're gonna fly to Vegas. We're gonna fly on EDB Air. We're going to listen to Rocky Top as we take off. Not really, because actually, can I share something? I'm gonna try to do it without crying. Can I share something that I learned about the copyright system through YouTube? I'm gonna share a story, and then we're gonna go to court. And then we're gonna go to court. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna share a story because, of course. And not about Dolly Parton marching in her high school marching band. Her high school, by the way, is the county that our high school has been losing to at state football championships for years and years and years and years and years, but did march percussion in her high school marching band. Because of course she was percussion, because just too cool. Of course, Just of course. But also, there are many music distribution outlets. As you know, we have talked about some of them. And there are different ways when there are music copyright issues on YouTube that those things can happen. Some of the labels, it is an absolute no-go. If there is any music at all, if you are streaming, the stream is down, the video is down, it can't be seen, it can't be distributed. It's like seriously yeeted off the face of the world. And so some music distribution chooses to yeet off the face of the world. Some music distribution chooses to allow the video to stay up, but you can't monetize it at all. And that's not what Dolly Parton does with her music. She allows her music to be used and splits monetization with it and allows it to stay up in the videos, be used in videos, and just split the proceeds with whoever made the video and her label. I have seen very, very few that do the same thing. But of course, right? But of course. So if you see like someone listens to Jolene for the first time or someone's reacting to music for the first time, one of the reasons a lot of those videos are around Dolly Parton is because she allows her music to be used and shared in that way so that creators, A, can share the video, B, can monetize the video, but can also have control of the monetization. Because if you lose control of the monetization, and I've said I don't mind being demonetized. We have incredible sponsors. I don't mind being demonetized. What is hard is when the record label takes over monetization and then there's 9,000 ads in a video. But with splitting monetization, the creator still has control of that. And isn't that just, of course it is. Just of course it is. And when I was navigating some of the stuff on YouTube, I was like, but of course that's what Dolly does. But of course, because of course. And one of the many things that always makes me smile. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm sad too. We're going to go to court. I know. But, Keffe D invented music and copyright law. So we're going to go find that out. I was trying so hard to just breathe this morning, but I'm sad. I'm sad. I am. I'm sad. So taking a breath, and going to court. All right. We're going to fly to Vegas and, be glad that we're all here together in this time and we can just go to court and take a minute to look at the man that apparently invented music in its entirety. We're going to go do that. Doesn't have a theme park though. Last I checked, doesn't have a theme park with all the roller coasters. You're not getting in your 50,000 steps walking around Keffe D land. Keffe D is the only one walking around Keffe D land, and yeah, that's about it. Let's fly. Let's go to court. Thanks, Law Nerds. I appreciate it, and thanks again, mods. I know it was not an easy day yesterday. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go to court and see what happens, because who knows what each day is going to bring. I need to make sure our closed captioning is on. This trial is his roller coaster. I agree with that. I agree that this trial is a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster. I don't know if I signed on for this much of a roller coaster, because at the beginning of this case, I was like, well, I mean, we kind of know most of the stuff that's going on in this case.
377-407.
I don't even think I did a proper intro to today. Where are we on day 8? I don't know what the state has left for day 8. We heard that I didn't even do a proper intro. Why? Because I'm emo. What are we going to see from the state? Well, we heard that the state was trying to find C-Ray, one of Keffe D's closest friends and confidants. Keffe D says that C-Ray turned into a informant against him and that C-Ray's wrong for that, per Keffe D in his book. We heard that they were trying to find C. Ray, and they could not, in fact, find C. Ray. So I don't know if we're going to see C. Ray come and testify. I think the reason they put that on the record is so the jury understood why he was not there, because almost everyone else we expect to testify, we either know if if they've testified or if they are no longer with us and are unable to testify. We also spent a lot of the day yesterday with the gang detective who worked in Compton and then at LA Sheriff's, who also has a book called Once Upon a Time in Compton. Who knew? Everybody's got a book. I should just start assuming it. And the cross-examination, though at the end had some points, it wandered so much at the beginning. I just wonder if some of those points were lost. And we're really seeing that with what the jury is asking. The jury is asking the questions they want the answers to. And it's interesting getting a little insight into what the jury's thinking. Hey, if Keffe D is spending his time around all these South Side Compton Crips, and you're saying that Tupac's spending his time around these Blood Pyrus, why is Keffe D considered a gang member and Tupac's not? Really normal question if this is not a world that you are familiar with. And the jurors asked the one question I was wondering if the prosecution or the defense was going to ask of the first witness yesterday who was in the entourage following behind Tupac, which is, so was anybody shooting? Did you see anybody shooting? Was anybody shooting? No? Okay. Because none of the attorneys asked it. And we wanted to know. So the jury questions have really become kind of the insight to what they're thinking. And I think what it tells you is that this jury is still invested and they're still curious and they've got questions, which I love to see. I love it. I love to see it. So the lawyers should get a sense of where those gaps are for the jurors based on their own questions. And maybe we'll see the lawyers filling in those gaps today. We can be optimistic. And I don't know what color lapel button the defense is wearing. The defense was wearing pink yesterday. I think today would be a good day for pink. I had to go run a few errands today, and I saw everyone in their Dolly Parton shirts. Pink would be right for today, and maybe defense just busted it out 2 days in a row. I guess we'll see. All right, now let's go to court. I feel like I've circled back to where we're supposed to be. Let's go to court. Now we can go to court. I guess we'll see.
My understanding is we have one thing we need to address outside the presence before we bring the jury back.
Yes, I guess two things, Your Honor. First is we'll be admitting some jail calls. We've edited those down to not include the lead-in and just the relevant portions as opposed to...
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We're jail calls, you say? Oh. The lead-in, when they say the lead-in, they mean this call is being recorded. You are speaking with an inmate at insert the name of the institution here, institution. So they edited out the lead-in that makes it very clear that it's a jail call.
Mr. Sam, who are those redactions. The issue that Mr. Sam raised to me was regarding, we were playing about, I think, less than 10 minutes of YouTube video. But Mr. Sam has an issue with the...
So the jail call issue is done?
The jail call issue is done.
You're just putting that on record.
First of all, it's kind of wild to me that the attorneys are just drinking out of red Solo cups at counsel table, because if those get knocked over, water is going to be anywhere. YouTube video, you say?
Record that there's no objection to the foundation for that, and you're not doing it through the custodian of records?
Yes, we had agreed ahead of time.
Got it. So moving on to the issue with the YouTube videos.
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding...
The court said that really fast. What did the court say? The court said that they're not bringing in the jail calls through the custodian of records, that it's been stipulated to with both the prosecution and the defense. This makes perfect sense to me. They're obviously the jail calls. If they're from his inmate number and it sounds like his voice, there's what do we need? Do we need to bring the custodian of records in? Because the custodian of records, I think, makes it more obvious that it's a jail call.
Mr. Samt has an objection as to the foundation for the
jail
YouTube
calls and
videos.
YouTube videos, you say?
That's correct, John. My understanding is that they're going to produce an individual that works for the Clark County District Attorney's Office will come here and basically just say that he found the videos on YouTube. I don't think there's going to be... I don't think there's going to be foundation laid properly in terms of when the videos were taken, by who, along those lines. And so as a result, we would just do a preliminary objection to the foundation. Maybe the state will lay that foundation during the course of the trial.
And what's your proffer as to what you expect the foundation to be?
That our discovery technician went on YouTube and saw the defendant's face, and nothing is off camera. It's the defendant's face, and that he's talking in a very recognizable voice that we have all heard. And I think that's sufficient foundation for that. It speaks for itself, similar to the book situation.
What's your foundation? It's fucking him, Your Honor. In his whole ass face, his whole face. It's just that's him, Your Honor, because that's him.
And what's your objection that the video is not what it purports to be, as to foundation, essentially?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
So, foundation, the essential question is that the item being proposed is what it purports to be. What's your objection on those grounds?
I don't think there's an objection that it is Mr. Davis that's on the video.
Well, if it's not an objection that it's your client on the video, what's the objection?
It's more of when and where the videos were taken. So it's not the same group of characters that was from the testimony of Mr. Dorsey, for instance. Mm-hmm. It's other people doing those videotapes. So as a result, if there's foundation they don't have, then I'm not. I mean, then I think that satisfies that.
I think it satisfies foundation
If
that it is a video of Mr. Davis. It's what you're proposing it be.
Yes.
I think there's probably going to be questions and argument regarding when it was taken, who took it, for what purpose, etc. But as to foundation, I don't think that's lacking.
Okay. All right. That's I at least wanted to.
Is there a real argument that a video on YouTube with the defendant's face is not the defendant? He's like, well, objection, we don't know when the video was taken. Okay, well, you might be able to determine when it was put up on YouTube. There might be context clues, or you might be able to argue, we don't even know when this is from. We don't even know when this is from. But if it's him talking, it's him talking. I'd prefer to bring in the interviewer, but that might not be an option that they have.
Have that out before the jury came in instead of in the middle.
Okay, that sounds good. So that's my preliminary ruling on that. We can raise it in the moment if there's anything more, if there's more doubts that come up, Mr. Sampt, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything else? Anything from your side?
No, Your Honor.
I do want to make a record that we replaced, and God, the numbers are escaping me, but I believe it's 121, and then the transcript that goes with the July 17, 2017 with redacted audio and a redacted transcript.
Okay.
I also had marked, I think it's WW, which is the defense's 180-page return to the October 2nd, 1996 search warrant that I also marked
So you redacted
for
it.
the defense.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's bring in the jury.
Have the jury.
All right. The jury is coming in. I'm going to just turn this down a little bit to sorry, I got distracted by the dude's shirt in court. I'm going to just turn it down while that door comes in. You can hear the jury walking in.
The jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can see the defendant looking at them.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still in the state's case in chief for now. State, who's your next witness?
State's witness is Adam Stoehr.
Adam, I didn't hear Adam's last name, but that's our next witness. All right, jury's in, and we're getting to, oh gosh, witness number, I have to look at my notes.
Just good for you.
25. Some of these witnesses
You do solemnly swear the
have been pretty
testimony you're
quick.
about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may be seated.
All right, state's witness number 25.
May I please have you state
so
and
much
spell your
background
first and
noise
last name
today.
for the record?
My name is Adam Stoehr.
It just feels so overclocked.
Stoehr.
All right, thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Stoehr, how are you employed?
I am an electronic evidence specialist for the Clark County District Attorney's Office.
And how long have you been an electronic discovery specialist with the district?
He's a T specialist. He goes and investigates the stuff. He's like, I'm a digital discovery expert. I search the interwebs. The man knows the T. I know the T. I know the things. I get to look at the downloads from the phone. I get to go through the photos. I'm surprised we didn't go through the photos more. How long you been doing that? Long enough. Anybody do this for your like sorority or fraternity where you research like the incoming pledges? This is the like grown-up version of that job.
Mr. Stoehr, how are you employed?
I'm an electronic evidence specialist for the Clark County District Attorney's Office.
And how long have you been an electronic discovery specialist with the District Attorney's Office?
About 3.5 years now.
Okay, and what do your job duties entail?
We collect evidence from various databases, and we download it and upload it into our case file for the attorneys.
And do you also ensure that those pieces of evidence are distributed then to the defense counsel?
Yes, we prepare them for discovery and we send them out.
I'm going to
Here's the
ask you
receipts,
particularly about things I asked you to do with this case. Did I ask you to obtain YouTube videos of the defendant, Mr. Davis?
You did?
And did you do that?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that there were a number of videos?
Yes, that is fair to say.
And then did I next ask you to reduce those videos to just a small number of brief clips for the purposes of the presentation today?
You did.
And
I'm surprised the defense didn't ask for completeness. I wonder if there's things Keffe D said that might have been beneficial to the defense. And I'm surprised they didn't ask for completeness. I wonder if they're admitting the entirety of the videos into evidence, but that's not clear. He's like, I asked you to reduce those to clips. Okay, well, if you asked him to reduce them to clips, the defense could ask for more context, but they did not. Oh, the clip that I played was from Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
This is his job. This is his job.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Do you recognize what State's Proposed 165 is?
I do.
What is State's Proposed 165?
Is a CD of YouTube exhibits.
And does this CD contain the actual videos that you
Oh, so the full
compilated?
videos are going in.
Yes, there should be 3 videos.
Okay.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm
Well, there
going to
you
move State's Exhibit 165 into evidence.
Any further objection, Mr. Stamps?
No, Your Honor.
All right, over objection, they will be admitted.
At this time, we're going to publish.
So the full videos are coming into evidence, and it looks like he's presenting just a few clips from them. Well, that's why the defense didn't ask for it, because the prosecution would have already said we intend to admit the entirety of the videos as they are on YouTube.
State's Exhibit 165.
You may.
Before I get into this, again, these are very small snippets of much larger, longer videos.
Yes, very much longer interviews.
I guess we're not watching the whole thing.
Let's do the book first.
You and Orlando and everyone else meets up, but you guys don't have any guns.
Who said that?
Well, it was in the book. Until
You guys don't have any guns. Who said that? Who said that? You said that. We will link these entire videos below today's video because they are not playing the entirety, it seems, in court. They're playing clips of them. Hold on. I think I can actually, now that my lighting is fixed, make my lighting dramatic TV lighting. Hold on. There's always one side of your face that has to be dark. I don't know why. It's just the rules. It's dramatic.
Von Zip came in the picture.
Yeah. All right, let's. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, but it is in the book.
Okay, yeah. Let them read about it.
Okay, and I guess Foxy Brown was with Zip.
Let them read about it.
Why are you giving the interview if your whole interview is going to be get the book? Get the book. Get the book.
Okay. Well, according to the book, which there's going to be a link in the video that you could actually order from.
That's right. Matter of fact, let me see my book.
You want to go ahead and show the book?
Yeah, let's show the book. Yeah, this is my book here. I would like you guys to buy it and get the real truth instead of from a cop or some fucking industry people, some bullshit. You getting it from a real motherfucker. So go get the book, you know, and you can get the real truth about this whole situation.
Well, that's why they picked that clip then. That's why they picked that's why they picked that clip. Wasn't it just yesterday when the defense was trying to argue that we don't know if the defendant wrote the book and whether it's his book and we don't know if things in the book are true? Wasn't the defense arguing about the disclaimer at the front of the book, the disclaimer that said, although the authors and publishers have made every effort to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the information contained in this book, we assume no responsibility for errors or inaccuracies? Weren't they trying to say that was the problem? If you want the real truth from the real motherfucker, right?
You want to go ahead and show the book?
Yeah, let's show the book. Yeah, this is my book here.
Damn.
I would like you guys to buy it and get the real truth instead of from a cop or some fucking industry people, some bullshit. You getting it from a real motherfucker. So go get the book, you know, and you can get the real truth about this whole situation. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to...
Just clip that for closing. Is that what they start their closing with? Do you start your closing with that?
Go ahead and read from the book passage.
Okay.
On getting a gun for the Tupac hit. While we were waiting for the valet to bring out our cars, Zip seized the opportunity and called me over to his Benz. Zip was a big-time New York player, pimp, and hustler who used to come out to California and handle his business and kick it with us sometimes. As I walked up to the driver's side, I noticed the rapper Foxy Brown was in the car with Zip. So he instructed her to step out of the car and motioned for me to jump in. Zip had a hidden compartment, and he opened up, reached in, and pulled back a 40 Glock.
Like I say,
he turned to me and said, "It's time to get the money."
Like I say, get your $20 and read about that part.
I'm going to play this.
I want $20 and you can read about it. Oh my goodness. Well, that is from the YouTube channel Vlad TV. We will link those videos. They're still on YouTube if you want to go watch them. Okay. The defendant holding up his book saying, "Get the real truth from the real motherfucker."
Second file.
Shit.
You had cancer at one point?
Yeah.
You beat it.
I beat it, yeah.
Right? It was a colon cancer?
I told you I beat 3 of the baddest entities in the world. United States government, fucking cancer, and the streets.
And then one last file.
So you think that you fought the law? Sir, there's more to that lyric. Right. You said in one of your early interviews there's no statute of limitation on murder.
Let me tell you something, brother.
I do have to say, the matching hats are a vibe for me. I'm not mad about the matching hats, but the switch up between the LA hat and the New York hat is something for sure.
Tupac and them jumped on him. He was by himself. He didn't. My nephew never jumped on no fucking Tupac. Come on, man. Tupac was wrong with 2 left fucking shoes, nigga. I mean, don't you think he was wrong? Honestly.
I mean,
he's so mad.
I think he could have, reacted in a better way.
You listen, Aubrey. You don't think that man is wrong?
He could have reacted in a better way, I guess. I mean,
I'm talking. Vlad is his fucking biggest fan. He admitted that man is wrong, man.
I mean,
So whoever the interviewer is for The Art of Dialogue, Keffe D is now mad because he feels like Vlad agreed with him and this interviewer's not agreeing with him that Tupac was wrong for jumping on his nephew. Still pissed about it. Still pissed about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was wrong, man, but that was only done out of loyalty, man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I need to see that again. I've not seen this interview. I've not watched all the Vlad TV interviews either. I read Keffe D's book. But man, he's still pissed.
He acted in a better way.
You listen, Obi. You don't think that man is wrong?
He could have reacted in a better way, I guess. I mean,
I'm talking Vlad is his fucking biggest fan. He admitted that man is wrong, man.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, he was wrong,
man.
man, but that was only done out of loyalty, man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. He never jumped. My nephew didn't jump on him. He jumped on my nephew, a kid, man. My nephew was a fucking kid. Them was grown ass men, dude.
How old was Tupac?
You know what I'm saying? He was a fucking kid, dude. That's why he had on that jersey. He's a fucking kid, dude. You know what I'm saying? They was wrong. My nephew never jumped on him.
Wasn't he 25?
They jumped on my nephew. My nephew didn't throw a punch, man.
Yeah.
Shit was wrong, dude.
Tupac was in his early 20s. Orlando Anderson was also in his early 20s.
Jumped on the fucking kid, dude.
Well, the defendant hasn't let that go. So that hasn't shifted since his interview with Death Row Chronicles.
And then, as part of your duties working for the Clark County District Attorney's Office, did you also receive a video from the courtroom proceedings in this case?
I did.
And did you receive the one view from a television network and another view that you synced up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, boy. Well, I guess he was mouthing stuff at a witness in court, wasn't he?
And how do you do that?
Or at least they think he did.
Adobe Premiere Pro. Took both videos, entered them into the same timeline, and then set them side by side and sync them up so that they played. It's the same video. It's the same video from different angles.
And I'm going to approach Judge State's proposed Exhibit 166. Did you actually put that compilation on a video? And then, I'm sorry, did you put that video on a CD?
I did.
And is this the CD that you put it on?
Yes, it is.
All right. Your Honor, this time it's going to move 166 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
This time state's going to publish 166.
Now, we've seen them use snippets from the actual televised trial in things like closing. We've seen them use imagery of the witnesses on the stand. We just saw that in the Corey Richins case. I don't think I've ever seen a clip of the defendant doing something in court come back around in trial in one of the cases that we've covered. But we're going to see it today.
I have everyone back here at 3:40. Please rise for the jury.
At that time when Reggie...
I'm going to rewind that. That went fast. If you're listening in the background, come on back. Reggie, remember when Reggie Wright came in, he was on his mobility scooter. He was not sitting on the witness stand. So if you're looking for that witness on the witness stand, he's sitting below the witness stand. I don't know why this witness stand does not have mobility access, but the defendant is absolutely mouthing something to the witness who's sitting right there.
I have everyone back here at 3:40. Please rise for the jury.
And what I appreciate is they synced it up with the screen from the court. so that you can see Keffe D looking at the witness, but you can see that the witness is there too. I remember chat was freaking out when this happened. I didn't want to rewind it. I was like, I don't know if he said something. I don't know if he didn't see something. I guess we'll see what the prosecutors think.
Back here at 3:40, please rise for the jury.
I don't know if he says fucking fuck, fucking fed, fucking rat. I don't know. He says something. He mouths something. Yeah, he does.
At that time when Reggie Wright Jr. is sitting in front of the witness stand, that Mr. Davis is mouthing words at Reggie Wright Jr.
Yes.
And here's the thing. If the jury didn't see that, because remember, the jury's to the side of the defendant, they can't always see the defendant's face the way that the angle of the camera set up in court. The camera in court is right back here on this little black pole. That's the camera tucked back there that's pointed at the counsel tables. So we can see the defendant better than those in court can, because the jury's to the side of him. So they might not have caught it. They might not be able to see it. But yeah, Maddie said they can play this in open court. It's evidence now. It's evidence now. Because he's clearly mouthing something at the witness. Yeah, they can.
As part of your duties with the Clark County District Attorney's Office, did you also have access to calls that Mr. Davis made since September of 2023?
I did.
And did I ask you to review some of those calls?
You did.
And did I ask you to clip some portions of those calls for the purpose of a presentation here today?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 164.
That might have been what the court was talking about when she said it's been going both ways. Because remember, the court said, Mr. Sample will advise your client not to have any contact with witnesses either. It might have been about that.
Is this CD the CD that you prepared containing those clips of calls?
Jail calls!
All right, at this time, State's going to move 164 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
This time, State's going to publish State's Exhibit 164. We'll go in chronological order. So can we play the 10, 12, 23?
So we're going to a jail call from 10, 12, 23. Bro, you know how this works.
Bruh.
I shouldn't be amazed, but here we are. They know that these are recorded. They know that they're recorded. And I am always shocked the shit that people say on jail calls. You know it's recorded. You know that people listen. What are you saying?
Everything will play out for you.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to understand what the fuck you're saying. Shit.
Everything will play out for you. Everything will do. They're just trying to use the words I said against me, but they can't do that shit.
They're just trying to use the words I said against me, but they can't do that shit. I heard that loud and clear. I'm going to back that up and play it one more time for y'all. They're just trying to use the words I said against me, but they can't do that. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. They can.
Everything will play out for you.
Everything will be cool.
They're just trying to use the words I said against me, but they can't do that shit. So,
well, shit, they trying it.
Well. I didn't break the thing that fucking Greg hated the thing. Shit.
I just wish you would have never did, dog. You would probably have been in jail. No, I forgot. I just wish you would have never talked to them, man.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I should have just went on and did that little.
Stop doing all them interviews, and I just never did none of that shit.
It's a little late for stop doing all them interviews.
I should whatever happened, happened, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody, that shit all over, all you see on Instagram, that all that shit. I'm like, damn, this shit is viral.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Stoehr, you've listened to this calls maybe one or two or more times. Is that fair?
That's fair.
In terms of editing it, is it fair to say that while some
I don't know who he's talking to. I don't know if they're going to clear it up. He could be talking to one of his daughters. He could be talking to his wife. He could be talking to one of his sisters. Don't know. And I don't know if they will clear that up or if they'll ask on cross.
some of the audio is a little bit garbled upon hearing it a number of times,
Keffe D's garbled.
to discern some of the words that are being stated.
Yes.
And is it fair to say that Mr. Davis says they're trying to use my words against me?
Yes.
That's
and then
leading.
He says, I didn't break the thing. Greg Kading broke the thing.
Yes.
Okay.
That's leading
now
too.
I'm going to play the next call.
I didn't break the thing. Greg Kading broke the thing. He talked first.
At 10:21:23.
Yeah, they ain't got shit though.
This is from 10/21/23. He was indicted in 2023. His book came out in 2019.
They trying to use my statements against me. You gonna lose, dude. I was paid to say that, stupid ass dude. Yeah.
Okay.
I was paid to say that, stupid motherfucker. You can't use my shit against me, you stupid.
I'm going to just back that up again. I was paid to say that. Which time? Which time were you paid to say that? You can't use my words against me. Oh, they can, though. I don't think you understand how that works. Those words do not mean what you think they do.
At 10:21:23.
Yeah, they ain't got shit though. They trying to use my statements against me. You gonna lose, dude. I was paid to say that, stupid ass dude. Yeah.
Okay.
I was paid to say that, stupid motherfucker. You can't use my shit against me, you stupid.
And then what's this book they say you wrote?
Oh, yeah, I did.
You can't use that against me, sir. Party opponent admission. They, in fact, can and are. They can't use that against. They can. He's actually not dogging out the DA too bad. I wonder what's in some of his other calls.
Yeah. After that dude did that, I didn't breach that contract. He did.
Okay.
I didn't breach that contract. They did. It sounds like they're talking about his book. I'm going to back up a little.
Motherfucker, you can't use my shit against me, you stupid.
And then what's this book they say you wrote?
Oh, yeah, I did. After that dude did that, I didn't breach that contract. He did.
Okay.
What's that book they say you wrote? I did. What's that book they say you wrote? I did.
Say that, stupid motherfucker. You can't use my shit against me, you stupid.
And then what's this book they say you wrote?
Oh, yeah, I did. After that dude did that, I didn't breach that contract. He did.
I think he's talking about Greg.
Off Carrot Top. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, bitch. He had my life fucked up. I clawed up under a rock for 6 years.
That's Kading.
I just got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Let them know the motherfucking truth. Bitch, you ain't just got me, motherfucker. You niggas around me got you for me. That Dirt Rock, all them son of a bitches. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Even my boy Jerome down the street from you. Little Rizal, all them motherfuckers. Oh, like, damn. All that shit. You know?
And similarly, have you listened to this call more than one time?
I have.
And is it fair to say that Mr. Davis says they're trying to use my words against me?
Yes.
And in fairness to Mr. Davis, he does say, I was paid to say those words.
Yes.
And then he says, when he's asked about what's that book you wrote, he says, yeah, I wrote that book.
Yes.
And then later on he says, I'm going to quote, let the motherfuckers know the truth.
Yes.
Okay. And then he later on says, regarding Greg Kading, you didn't get me, and then says some people who actually did get him.
Yes.
Okay.
Keffe D complains in his book quite a lot that Greg Kading was just trying to make himself look like some super cop who solved everything. So it doesn't surprise me that Keffe D is turning around saying, you didn't get me, Kading. All the people in my inner circle that flipped on me, that's who got me. But who did they flip on you to? The cops. MIBBS says, who is the Bruce Rivers the chat keeps mentioning? He is a defense attorney who, well, I don't know if he coined the phrase, but he has definitely popularized the phrase, stop self-snitching. He is a certified defense attorney, and he regularly breaks down cases with a defense attorney point of view, but also his key phrase is stop self-snitching. This entire case is the penultimate case of self-snitching. So that is why. Because it is literally what he talks about in almost every video. He's been a criminal defense attorney for a very, very long time.
Can we play the 11-9-23?
11-9-23.
Deadline. So I'm gonna call Edie. I'm gonna call him today, and then when you call me later on tonight or tomorrow, I know.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Love, my bro.
All right, I'm looking out for you, dog. All right.
Once I get home, man, we rich.
Oh, of course.
Once I get home, we're rich.
All right, I'm looking out for you, dog. All right.
Once I get home, man, we rich.
Oh, of course. Of course.
All right, I got to tell Keith, dude, you know what I'm saying? Don't let them throw that motherfucking shit up in your face. We be mad the motherfucking 10 years later. Next series still going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make us want to, you know, I got to tell that nigga, I got blood on my money.
I got blood on my money. Tee-hee, tee-hee, tee-hee. Oh, boy.
What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make us want to, you know, I got to tell that nigga, I got blood on my money. All right, what's up, bro? Okay.
All right, big dog. All right. Talk to you later. Peace.
Similarly, had you listened to this call a number of times?
Yes.
Is it fair to say?
I don't know why the defense isn't objecting to leading at this point. Maybe it's because there's really nothing you can do, but damn.
That Mr. Davis says, I have blood on my money.
Correct.
No, he said, I got blood on my money.
And then the last call from July 5th, 2024.
I was born way before that dude. I was way out there before him, dude. I know Easy and Dr. Dre and put them on, motherfucker.
First of all, why are we bringing up Eazy-E and Dr. Dre again? Who are you to be like, fuck all of them? Bro, you're the one sitting in jail.
Four?
I was born way before that dude. I was way out there before him, dude. I know Easy and Dr. Dre and put them on, motherfucker. Don't need this little faggot. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
Pick up in fucking prison and get fucked in the ass.
What the fuck, man? Who are you talking about?
Police and all that, raping little girls, jumping on little kids and the fucking.
Diddy, you're talking about Diddy.
Casino. Yeah.
He's talking about Diddy. He's got to be talking about Diddy. Yeah, I think he's probably talking about Diddy.
He's a piece of shit. No?
Bro, they making this shit way with it, like, yeah.
That wasn't even words.
Talking about your icon. Well, where?
Icon, my ass. I don't want none of my kids like that motherfucker. Faggot.
Good God.
Okay, and similar to the previous three calls, have you listened?
Do we think he's talking about Diddy? Is that why we're playing this? Fuck, man.
To this call a number of times. And is it fair to say that
Can we leave the slurs
well, he
out
says
of
a
it,
lot,
counsel?
but in particular, he says he's complaining about somebody jumping on little kid in the casino, in the hallway of the casino, that he's a piece of shit.
Yes.
I didn't hear that.
Court's indulgence.
I got lost. He's talking about Suge then. I got lost with the rest of it. I went a different direction with that, which is why my brain went to Diddy. He's talking about his nephew and Suge. I don't want to rewind it and play it again. So I'm not rewinding and playing that one again. I'm going to go with the DA's interpretation of that one. He could be talking about Pac. That's fair.
All right, Mr. Stamp, cross-examination.
No cross-sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, any of the jury, any questions for this?
No cross?
Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Stoehr. You're free to go.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions? What? The fuck was that? Someone was asking, when was that last call recorded? July 5th, 2024. Is he looking over at the DA at this point, or is he looking at his attorney after no cross?
Say who's your next.
Oh, I think he's looking at the DA. Hold on, I'm going to rewind that. I think he's looking at the DA.
Any of the jury, any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Stoehr. You're free to go.
Or the witness. The attorney's hitting his arm to tell him to stop. Yeah, I think he's looking at the prosecutors.
Say who's your next witness?
And he's shaking his head. He's mouthing something. He is mad. They're going to use your jail calls against you. You're not going to hurt their feelings. When you talk shit about the prosecutors on your jail calls, they're probably going to go to their colleagues and be like, you're never going to believe what he said about me. You're just not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. Honestly, if you weren't mad at them, they probably aren't doing their job. Of course, you don't like what the prosecutors are using against you. But bro, they didn't write your book. The jury can still see you, and they are probably more tuned into your face now than they were before, because now they've seen the video of you mouthing something at Reggie Wright.
Say who's your next witness?
Judge, reserving the right to confirm with the clerk that everything that we've offered has been admitted. At this point, the state will rest.
What? What did you just say? The state rests? Motherfucker, what did you just say? No. Excuse me. Suge is on your witness list. Damn it. No. I'm rewinding that. I want to hear what they say again.
None. Thank you, Mr. Stoehr. You're free to go.
We want Suge.
Say who's your next witness?
Judge, reserving the right to confirm with the clerk that everything that we've offered has been admitted.
He said, reserving the right to confirm with the clerk that everything we've offered has been admitted. We rest.
At this point, the state will rest.
Do you want to come up and review it, or have you already done
I've
it?
checked. It's just the last three exhibits, actually, is the last one we would have to confirm.
Okay.
Can we address 31?
Oh, yes, I forgot to address 31. So 31 was a duplicate.
Okay.
So we never offered 31. We just need to make a record that 31 was a duplicate
Mark.
You know what exhibit it is? Of 30. Yeah, it's a duplicate of 30.
Okay.
So the clerk asked me to put that
So
on.
31 should just be blank. There should be no exhibit attached to that.
Well, it's marked as a proposed exhibit. It's just not admitted.
Correct.
As a duplicate.
Okay. Sounds good.
I guess there's C-Ray. They probably didn't find C-Ray.
Defense. We're moving into your case in chief.
Yeah, maybe a question.
You may.
I mean, reserving Suge for rebuttal is possible, but I don't think the defense is going to put on a case. I would be surprised if the defense puts on a case. What case is the defense going to put on at this point? They're at sidebar. The gentleman with all the tattoos that I've been trying to figure out for weeks is not even done his coffee yet. Neither am I. I can't believe I can't believe they're done. I can't imagine the defense puts on a case. Look, the judge, what is the judge? What are we laughing at, Your Honor? We're laughing at that we're ending on the defendant's jail calls. I mean, the ending on the defendant's jail calls makes sense. But we're at the end of the prosecution's case. We will generally get a defense motion to dismiss outside the presence of the jury. However, if the defense has a witness ready to go, I imagine the judge is going to want to get that in front of the jury and keep today moving right along. The jury came in on a half day. They've had what? 30 minutes of evidence today?
Okay. Mr. Stamp, anything you wanted to put on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. With regard to the defense's case in chief, we have witnesses lined up. We cannot make it here today. There will be officers from the Metropolitan Police Department that will testify on behalf of the defense. Because of the fact that they're scheduling, we're unable to get it today. We would ask the court to allow us to start our case in chief tomorrow with a detective and 2 police officers tomorrow.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're way ahead of schedule, ultimately. The defense, at this point, is moving into their case in chief, but doesn't have their witnesses available until tomorrow. So we are going to recess for today and have you guys back here at noon tomorrow. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Please rise for the jury.
Sorry, we'll see you tomorrow. I imagine the defense case will be done tomorrow. The defense is putting on witnesses. They're calling law enforcement. I don't know if the prosecution will bring a rebuttal, but the defense is putting on witnesses tomorrow. Let's see if the court has them argue their motion to dismiss or JOA, depending on what they call it in Vegas. Wow. Dr. Riart said, I'd be mad. Did you rub my lamp? Did you bring me here? Yeah, the jury came in for like 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more.
Noon tomorrow. Eat before you come, guys.
Come at noon. We're not providing lunch. The defense and his client are talking. Counsel, now's the time for your motion. Yeah, that's a rough day for the jury to just come in and then pop back out. But
for the record, the jury has exited the room. Everyone can be seated, Mr. Davis.
The prosecution, it seems, has been giving the defense a heads up on who their witnesses would be. I can't imagine the defense was truly caught unaware that the prosecution only had about 30 plus minutes today. So the defense not having their witnesses here, the judge, I'm sure, had something to say at sidebar because they probably knew, but jury dismissed for the day. The prosecution has rested. Let's try to do a summary because that was a staggering shift today. And then we'll see if the defense makes their motion. Well, after maybe 30 minutes today, the prosecution has rested. It seems that they have not found C-Ray, and they are not calling Suge Knight at this point, much to my disappointment. The prosecution put on clips from clips from interviews the defendant did with various interviewers or channels on YouTube, and said that the entirety of those videos was being admitted into evidence, but they only showed portions of them, significantly including the defendant basically saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. If you want the real truth from the real motherfucker, buy my book. And then we got into a few of defendant's jail calls where the defendant talks about his book. He's asked about it by the individual he's talking to on the phone. What's this book they're saying you wrote? Yeah, I did that. And at one point, the defendant says, I got paid to say that. But then he's joking with somebody else saying, When I get out of here, I'm rich, but my money's got blood on it. Followed by quite a lot of laughter from the defendant. He also says multiple times, they're using my words against me. He's not saying he didn't say any of the things. He's not saying they're not true. He's saying they're using my words against me and they can't do that. Well, I assure you, sir, they can in fact use your words against you. You've been Mirandized enough to know anything you say can and will be used against you. And at times it seems that he's talking about whether he violated the proffer with LAPD, but the feds got permission to bring his proffer conversations in, probably based on the fact that he wrote the book and said the same thing in the book that he said in the proffers. And the feds aren't the ones prosecuting him here. The feds say they won't use his proffer against him. And then the LAPD proffer, they said they won't use against him in that investigation. Well, that investigation was for the death of Biggie, and they're not using it against him. In fact, LAPD is not prosecuting this case. And, well, when he talked to Las Vegas PD, who was in fact investigating the death of Tupac, they said repeatedly, this is a statement. There is no deal here. This is not a proffer. You're just telling us what you want to tell us. No deal. And he's never had immunity. Ever. So the prosecution ended on the defendant's own words because the best witness against the defendant in this case is, in fact, the defendant. So let's see if the defense makes an argument for dismissal or judgment of acquittal. And then the defense said that they have a few witnesses tomorrow. I guess we'll see if they do. They said they're calling law enforcement witnesses. I don't think the defendant will testify, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. We'll do a poll on that tomorrow when we get back to court. Northwest pointed out in the chat, they did say at the beginning of the interview, we're not here to arrest you today, right? We're not here to arrest you today. We're not here to arrest you today. Thanks, everybody. I'm out. You're not here to arrest me today. You said today. I'm out. I'm out. That's when you get up and leave. You're free to go. Great. I'm gonna do that. Again, defendant has always had the right to remain silent, but just not the capacity to do so. And I think insult was added to injury after Greg Kading put out his book. And we've heard Keffe D say it numerous times, not from law enforcement, not from investigators. I'm telling my story from me. And it seems to me that he wanted that story out. Well, he could still revel in it. So he wants everybody to know what he did. Fine. Now they all know what you did. And there's a jury that's going to decide whether or not that is aiding and abetting a first-degree murder. He did say, I beat the big three: cancer, the U.S. government, and the streets. Well, I guess 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But that third one's probably going to land him in prison for the rest of his life, because I can't imagine what the defense is going to put on other than the investigation wasn't great. So 25 witnesses, and the state has rested. Let's see what the defense argues now. Your Honor, they can't use his words against him. What are they doing? Is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're going to do?
Just remain standing.
I guess we'll see.
I have to admonish you on your right to testify at this time.
We're doing this shit now? We're going to do the colloquy with the defendant now? Michelina, will you let the app know that they're doing the colloquy with the defendant about his right to testify, like right now? I'm so surprised. We're not going to the motion to dismiss right now. We're going into the colloquy. Now, we're going into the colloquy now. Mr. Davis, please remain standing. We got to talk to you about your right to testify. Why don't they do this in the morning?
For the record, the jury has...
You know why they're not going to do that? Emily, you keep pausing. Do you know why they're not going to do this in the morning? Because Donna Adelson, that's why. Donna Adelson, that's why. We saw what the fuck happened with Donna. Oh, Donna.
Exited the room. Everyone can be seated. Mr. Davis remains standing.
The jury's
I should
out.
admonish you on your right to testify at this time, just so you can make that decision overnight with your attorney. Okay.
Fair enough.
Mr. Davis, under the Constitution of the United under the Constitution of the United States and under the Constitution of the State of Nevada, you cannot be forced to testify in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You may, at your own request, give up this right and take the witness stand and testify. If you do, you will be subject to cross-examination by the Deputy District Attorney, and anything that you may say, be it on direct or cross-examination, will be the subject of fair comment when the Deputy District Attorney speaks to the jury in their final argument. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
They're
If
going
you
to
choose
comment
not
on
to
your words
testify,
anyway.
the court will not permit the Deputy District Attorneys to make any comments to the jury because you have not testified. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you choose not to
They can't comment on the fact that you didn't testify. They can comment on all the shit you said, though. So, all of you, some of you who didn't watch the trial with Donna Adelson are like, Emily, what happened with who? Different trial, but the back and forth over whether she was going to testify or not testify and how much time she needed to decide if she was going to testify, and everybody just needed 5 more minutes. And the judge was sitting there losing his mind, angrily typing on his typeboard. She just kept kicking the can and then didn't testify. I need more time. I need more time. I need more time. I need more time. I'm not going to testify. It took like 2.5. It took overnight and then another like half a day.
testify, the court will instruct the jury, if your attorney wants me to, as follows. The law does not compel a defendant in a criminal case to take the stand and testify, and no presumption may be raised and no inference of any kind may be drawn from the failure of a defendant to testify. Do you have any questions? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions in general about these rights?
No, I'm good.
You understood? Okay. You're further advised that if you have a felony conviction...
What's I'm good mean? I'm good. I'm good. I want to say something. I'm good. I don't want to say something. Now I'm curious.
And more than 10 years has not elapsed from the date you were convicted or discharged from prison, parole, or probation, whichever is later, and and you elect to take the stand and testify, the DA will be able to ask you in the presence of the jury the following. 1, have you been convicted of the felony? 2, what was the felony? And 3, when did it happen?
I mean, the shit's
but the
kind
DA
of out of the
cannot get
horse on
into
that
details
one.
about that. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll leave it to you and your attorney's consultations as to what your decision is, but I just wanted to give you those rights at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Judge, just for the record, because Mr. Stamp may not be aware of this, we checked the 2015 conviction. It ran on August 11th of 2026. So the only conviction that he would be facing cross-examination for is his conviction a couple of years ago for battery by a prisoner.
Okay. All right. Yes.
The defendant has a question. What the prosecutor said is his 2015 conviction ran the 10-year statute, so they're not going to be able to ask about that one. I mean, I don't think his past convictions matter all that much in this case. The jury is aware that he has past convictions. He's talked about having past convictions. I don't think it changes how the jury approaches evaluating what Keffe D has had to say. But now Keffe D's got something else to say. For those of you just coming in on the app notification, the state rested, they played jail calls. They're giving the court just gave the defendant the advisements about his right to testify so he can talk to his lawyer overnight about it. So the defendant, if he chooses to testify, which I guess we'll find out tomorrow, if he chooses to testify, would be asked about his latest conviction, which was battery on a prisoner. He was convicted of that while he was in custody on this case.
26. So the only conviction that
And now Keffe D's got a question for the court.
For is his
Holy shit today.
conviction a couple of years ago for battery by a prisoner.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Is that why they sent them to attack me?
I understand that's what you...
Sir, the prosecution did not send anyone to attack you. His question to the court, is that why they sent them to attack me? Sir, I imagine that you and your fellow prisoners don't always get along. But he's like, is that why they sent them to attack me? No. Nobody sent anyone to attack you. I mean, I can't say that for a fact. I would be highly sus if the state sent somebody to attack you. Given the amount of self-snitching that you've done, I imagine there are maybe a few people that have beef.
Years ago for battery by a prisoner.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Is that why they sent them to attack me?
I understand
His
that.
lawyer probably said, shut the fuck up.
That's your position, that happened, but ultimately,
This judge, I think,
I
had
don't know
that
anything about
case as well.
case. I've never looked at it, okay?
Oh, this judge did not have that case. I don't want to talk about that case. I haven't looked at it. For those of you just coming in, the state rested, surprisingly, the state rested. The defense says they have witnesses tomorrow. The defendant got the admonition about whether he wants to choose or testify so he can think about it overnight. The prosecution said that if the defendant does testify, there's only one prior conviction that they can ask him about under the law in Nevada with the 10-year kind of timeout. And the defendant popped back at the prosecution and said, is that why they sent them to attack me? And the judge is like, I understand that that's what you think happened. We're not talking about it.
All right. Okay, you guys can be seated. Anything else we need to address outside the presence?
Yeah, the motion. Make your motion, defense.
No, Your Honor, in terms of scheduling, we anticipate once we have our case in chief and for the state's rebuttal that we'll probably be closing on Monday.
Okay.
So we'll just need to go over jury instructions.
Yes. So I've been working on jury instructions. Ms. Panduct asked that we include a Carter instruction just in case.
A what instruction?
A Carter instruction.
Carter, okay.
And then Ms. Panduct also asked about a voluntariness instruction. We have some thoughts on that. So we'll
A voluntariness or a voluntary manslaughter?
The voluntariness of the statement.
Voluntariness of the statement.
Okay. So we have some thoughts on that. So we're preparing something that we think conforms to this court's ruling. And then we will probably have a corpus delicti instruction as well.
When did you want to settle?
I'll get this to Ms. Panduct. I assume, would you like me to send to Ms. Panduct? Okay, I'll get it to Ms. Panduct this evening, and then I'll.
So they'll do
we
their
can probably
conference
do it Friday
Friday
morning or Thursday, probably Friday morning probably best, or Friday sometime during the day. Settle those during that time, so Ms. Panduct has some time to review with Mr. Saft what the instructions are.
Okay. All right, so we'll plan on settling those probably Friday morning sometime. Okay.
So they're going to be done with evidence tomorrow.
The only question I would have is the two rebuttal witnesses I have to one I know that they're calling. Should I have them here at 2 tomorrow? Because I don't imagine Mr. Sands is going to be very long, or should I have them here at 9 o'clock on Friday?
No, don't do that. If we just have them here at 2 o'clock, that should work.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
sounds
so
good.
I'm going to try to get them here.
The defense thinks that their entire case is going to take an hour. So I guess we know that the defendant's not testifying and there's rebuttal witnesses. So, okay, the defense says they have 3 law enforcement officers that are going to be testifying and that they're anticipating it's going to take an hour. That's not much. And so the prosecution's like, you want our witnesses here by 2? And the defense is like, yeah, probably by 2.
Have everybody here at 2. Maybe we may have the submission of the case at least wrapped up by the end of the day tomorrow.
Yes,
Okay.
Sounds like it.
All right, thank you guys. We'll be in recess.
Wow.
Thank you.
Holy shit. Well, who's he? He's still just pointing at people. Well, everybody. And just like that, it looks like we're coming to a screeching halt on the Tupac murder trial. The defense did not make a motion to dismiss today. I do not know why. Maybe they will make it after their case. Maybe they will make it at the close of evidence. I guess we will see. The court didn't bring it up with the defense, so I guess the court is not concerned that it hasn't happened yet, and maybe we will see that at the close of evidence. It sounds like all of the evidence will be done tomorrow, and the court did tell them to be back at 12, not 1, and to eat lunch before they came. So I guess 2 hours for the defense's case, not an hour. I thought the court had, because we did 1 today, my brain conflated it. So 2 hours of testimony for the defense. They say they have 3 witnesses. That's still not the defendant testifying. I don't think the defendant's going to testify. The defendant has said enough. So I don't think we'll see the defendant testify. I don't think we're going to see Suge Knight testify. I'd be shocked if he was a rebuttal witness. I doubt that he is. And the prosecution said, you want us to have our rebuttal witnesses here at 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. It sounds like we will be done with evidence entirely tomorrow. They will do a jury instruction charging conference on Friday, and we will be into closing arguments on Monday. And the jury getting closing arguments fresh on a Monday. Look, I know there's a lot of cases where it's like, what's this jury doing? Please remember that this jury has now at least 3 YouTube interviews of the defendant talking and the entirety of the defendant's book. I imagine this jury may want to take some time to take a look at the things submitted to them because not all of it's been presented in evidence. They brought in photographs, but those weren't displayed. So some of the things of evidence they haven't had a chance to go through. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. Then again, they might just be done. But the jury was qualified through the end of next week for evidence. So the case is quite ahead of schedule for what the jury was qualified for. And if they want to sit down and look through the defendant's book, they're going to sit down and look through the defendant book. I would, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to look through the defendant's book? I would. But that just all of a sudden, just at the end there, just wrapped right up. And I'm kind of surprised the defense didn't have their witnesses today, but I guess it gives them a chance to talk to their client overnight. We're going to answer questions. What a wild day. What a wild short day. We're going to answer questions. Everybody just coming in. The state rested. The defendant got the admonition about testifying so he can decide before the morning. It seems that they've already decided that he's not going to testify. The defense says they have 3 law enforcement witnesses and they'll take about 2 hours in the morning. The prosecution's going to have their rebuttal witnesses ready tomorrow at about 2 p.m. Pacific. And they want to do closing arguments on Monday. So we're just about done with the trial for the murder of Tupac. The prosecution really did there were parts that felt slogging, mostly because it was all those audio interviews, but I understand why they played those interviews in the entirety. And then the later interviews where he's promoting his book were not played in their entirety. Let's get to questions. I guess we'll get into the defense's case tomorrow. How many times are they going to ask about reports? He's going to ask so much about reports. And then Friday, they're going to do the charging conference. So on Friday, the charging conference should be streamed. We'll sit here and we will talk about the jury instructions. Jury instructions are really important for closing argument and getting instructions you want or not getting instructions you want. There's instructions that the defense is asking for about the voluntariness of defendant's statements that the prosecution is going to argue about. So the jury won't be in on Friday, it sounds like, because it sounds like they will probably wrap up tomorrow. If there's overflow, the jury will be in on Friday. But they will be if they're doing jury instructions on Friday, we will go to court on Friday and do jury instructions with them. Jury instructions are fascinating. You kind of learn a lot about what people want to argue in the charging conference. And though it can feel like, yeah, it's the jury instructions, it's really quite critical to the way that the case is presented at closing. And it works really well for the parties that it looks like they're going to have most of the day Friday and then the weekend to work on closing. So, all right. What can be his maximum charge? Life. He's facing life. It's a first degree premeditated murder. He is facing life. I think after that, it's 50 years to life. So he could get a determinate life sentence, but I think 50 years to life is the lower of the sentences. I don't know if they're going to argue for lesser included. I don't think there's a lesser included to add. Truly. I don't see what lesser included they can add. Ali said, why did court not start until the afternoon local time? The court has calendar, and it was my understanding that defense also had some calendaring issues, but the jury was given that ahead of time, so they knew which days would be kind of half days or afternoon starts because of the court's calendar, and that's what's happening. Why does the prosecutor hold his hand against it? I have no idea. The prosecutor probably habit. I don't know. I don't have a beard. I don't know. But I also can't have my hair touching my face when I'm in court. So I don't know. I would imagine I would constantly be touching my hair out of my face too. But yeah, he wanders. He's got stuff. I don't know. He's fidgeting, but I always need my hair out of my face. Otherwise, I will fidget with it. Let's get to questions. Have I missed something? Is the defense not putting on a defense? The defense is putting on a defense. They just didn't have their witnesses today. They're putting on their defense tomorrow. This seems like a scheduling fail, but they are ahead of schedule. So what are we going to do? All right, let's get to questions, law nerds. I mean, trials are unexpected. The Rook said, what is the colloquy? It is the judges back and forth with the defendant about their rights to testify. There are times that, the colloquy with the defendant can be different things. If they're taking a plea deal, the colloquy is all of their rights, but it is kind of the formal process of the judge talking directly to the defendant, which happens in very few circumstances. If the defendant's taking a plea, if the defendant is being advised of his rights to testify, there are very few circumstances where the court and the defendant are really formally talking at one another. Keffe D doesn't always agree with that because he's just like, I got something to say, and he just says it. So, but the colloquy is really that formal process of back and forth. Do you feel the defendant was a strong case? Do you feel definitely was a strong case? It depends on how the jury views the statements. I think the jury puts a lot of weight on the defendant's own statements and how many times did the defendant say, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. I Love Pie said, do we think the state knew they were arresting today or did something go wrong and they had to? I wonder if they were hoping they might still find C. Ray, but they put it out in front of the jury that they didn't have him. I imagine by last night they knew that they didn't have him. There's only so fast you can get between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and I imagine Las Vegas is not paying to fly him if they do find him. So I imagine by the time they got midway through, at least this morning, they would have known that they didn't have one more witness and that this was what they were wrapping up with. They might have held out the option to have C. Ray come in if they found him, but I think they probably knew yesterday that that wasn't going to happen because I don't think they still had Las Vegas detectives in Los Angeles looking for him. So what if they find him tonight? They've rested. And if I was the defense, I would argue that we're not going to reopen. Could they bring him in as a rebuttal witness? I don't know if it would help at this time or if it would just get messier. So I think it might just get messier. I think it might just get messier. The Lauren 87 said, so C. Ray's still alive? Yes. The detective that testified yesterday talked about the fact that they were out over the weekend in Los Angeles looking for him. They went to his house. He was not there. His 90-plus-year-old mother was not there, and they were not there. So, but the defense says they have 3 law enforcement witnesses tomorrow. The prosecution says they have 2 rebuttal witnesses. They all basically know who their witnesses are and what they're going to call or what they're going to say. The case file, a number of you asked if I have the defense witness list. I don't. The case file, like the entire case file, is closed while this is in trial. So I don't have the defense witness list. even if we did, I don't necessarily know who those officers are. But the fact that they think these officers are only going to be 2 hours, I don't know who they're calling. I don't know if they're calling Greg Kading. I don't know if they're calling Detective Mogg. They've talked about Mogg a lot, so maybe they will. Or sometimes it can be the stronger case to just leave Mogg out there and not give him the opportunity to answer the questions, the way that we saw Proctor kind of left hanging in the Karen Reed case number 2. They talked about Proctor. They talked around Proctor. They talked about Proctor did this and Proctor did this and Proctor didn't do that. But they never called Proctor, so there were no answers to it. And sometimes the jury's assumptions could be worse than what the testimony would be. And so sometimes you just kind of leave that hanging and just blame everything on Mogg and let the jury think that Mogg is, the worst thing that's ever happened. I don't know if in this particular case it matters as much because of how much talking the defendant did. This is the big question in this case for me, and let me know what you think. The big question in this case for me is not what was this investigation. It's what took so long between 2009 and 2018, and then what took so long between 2018 and now. And I think Keffe D's book played a big part in that. I think some of the witnesses being gone might play a part in that. I think some of the witnesses being older and then being able to find them and those witnesses reluctantly coming to court instead of bouncing has something to do with that. But I do think that the defendant's book opens a lot of doors to whether or not some of his proffers come in, because now it's all out there. But Greg Kading put a lot of that out there too. And the questions about the propriety of that and whether the jury likes it or doesn't like it, I don't like it. I think I've been pretty clear about it. I don't like it. It does not sit well with me. I don't like it. But it also doesn't negate Keffe D's own words. And it doesn't change what Keffe D has said. It might have been why he decided to talk to defend himself. And I put defend himself in air quotes because I think I don't think his book reads to me like a defense. I think it reads to me like a little bit of well, I'm going to tell you the real fucking truth because I was the only one fucking there. So you better sit down and listen to me. Because nobody's going to just make $1 off of my name without me catching some dollars too. So I think both things can be true, that the propriety of Kading's book and all the content that came after it doesn't change what the defendant said, and doesn't change the defendant's own words because they're pretty consistent. And those words are aiding and abetting. And the defendant really wanted to write a Regina George style burn book and talk about everybody that wronged him. And if the jury goes back and looks at this book, the end of the book goes through the people who wronged him. And he keeps saying, you're wrong for that. And so the prosecution bringing in the video of the defendant sitting down with an interviewer saying, but Tupac was wrong for that, it again confirms that the language used in this book comes out of the defendant's mouth. This book is written like he dictated it to somebody who then put it together. It is very much written in the way that the defendant speaks. And the jury's gotten really familiar with the way the defendant speaks because of how much talking he did. So he goes through the whole end of this book talking about who's wrong for it. C-Ray is in there. You're wrong. He talks about Uchi being wrong. He talks about Dirt Rock being wrong. He talks about Menace being wrong. He talks about Tucker. He talks about Greg Kading. He talks about the people he's mad at. Should we see what he said about Kading? Have we done that yet? I don't remember if we have. We've apparently got a minute. Griffin's going to be thrilled. Griffin's going to be like, what do you mean you're done? I'm going to be like, I don't fucking know. They came in for 30 minutes today and then the state rested and the defense doesn't have witnesses till tomorrow. And the judge is like, we're ahead of time. It's fine. Jurors, eat lunch. Come with a full tummy and let's do this tomorrow. Because this trial, is essentially going to be done tomorrow. Let's see what the defendant has to say about Greg Kading. I still have my dramatic lights on because now the other one won't go back on. So it is what it is. Greg Kading. Kading, you're a snake. You seriously jeopardized the lives and safety of myself and my family so you could be seen as the quote-unquote super cop who solved the Tupac and Biggie murders. Also, Keffe D is not wrong for that. He's not wrong about that at all. I think putting the book out while the investigation was ongoing and talking about Keffe D talking was wrong. I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. It does put people in danger. But I also think that's probably why he got jumped in custody. I don't think it has anything to do with the current prosecutors. It just depends on who you're in custody with. That investigation was still ongoing. Don't like it. Don't like it. Keffe D is not wrong in that. He goes on to say, you wanted to be seen as the super cop who solved the Tupac and Biggie murders. You ain't did shit, bitch. His sentence, verbatim. If it wasn't for the FBI and the U.S. attorney, they sicked on my ass. I wouldn't have told you a motherfucking thing with your weak ass shit. You wasn't nothing but a little LAPD detective. If truth is your defense, then you should have told the whole truth. Instead, you just put my name and identity out in the public and concealed the identities of all the other motherfuckers underneath me that flipped. You used them in order to get to me. Facts. That's facts. That's exactly how that works. That's how that works. Yep. That's how that works. Yeah, they flip people to get to the other people. CEG, almost every, especially federal case we've covered. Ask Jen Shaw how she feels about people flipping. It goes on to say, next paragraph. I've been to the federal prison system, so I know all the codes. I mean, not the evidence code. He doesn't know the evidence code, but he knows all the codes. I know all the codes and everything about the system. Actually, Keffe D invented the federal prison system, and the federal sentencing guidelines, and in fact the law itself. So yeah, he knows. His sentence is literally, so I know all the codes and everything about the system. I mean, he definitely knows more than me about the federal prison system. That's fair. Anyone who has been to the feds knows there are sentencing guidelines. That I do know. And if you have a federal case, you have to be sentenced under those guidelines. I received a 70-month sentence from a fucking 7-second phone call based on the sentencing guidelines. This is Keffe D laying the groundwork for his beefs with everybody else. The 7-second phone call is him getting popped in the federal case that we saw the FBI agent come and testify about based on wiretaps. The thing is, Keffe D went to federal prison for 70 months based on his own words. So it's shocking to me that he's on jail calls saying they can't use my words against you. Sir, they had to get a warrant for the wiretaps. They didn't have to get a warrant for your fucking book. He's probably like, how many copies did the DA's office pay for? I mean, did your mom send the DA's office a copy? Probably not. Sorry, that was Corey Richens. Wrong case. They gave me 10 months per second. They didn't catch me with anything, just an ambiguous phone call. I did 70 months. If you get caught, do your fucking time, homie. I got caught and did mine. When I reviewed the paperwork surrounding my case, this is his federal case. when I reviewed my paperwork surrounding my case from the Freedom of Information Act, it fucked me up. His words. It fucked me up. Most of the names and sensitive information had been redacted. Right. The feds are sensitive about witness intimidation, especially because they rely so heavily on CIs. Most of the names and sensitive information have been redacted, but it's easy for me to know who and what they're talking about because I was there. The shit happened to me. The paperwork confirmed what I instinctively already knew. Some of those closest to me had flipped on me and put me in a fucked up predicament. That shit ain't right. A lot of dudes I thought were true to this game weren't true at all. It seems like they envied me. Everyone's jealous of Keffe D. It seems like they envied me. Keffe D, I am not a therapist. I'm just going to say that when the feds are having a chit chat with folks about how much time they might spend in prison, envy's not the first thought that goes through people's minds. Not going to prison is the first thought that goes through people's minds. And I think you would know this well because when you sat down with the feds, you started having a chitty chat too. To be fair to Keffe D, other than Diddy and all of the celebrities, most of the people he talked about were not still alive. So, envy, no. Survival, yes. But that's not how Keffe D tells it. Everyone's jealous of Keffe D, right? In fact, Keffe D invented jealousy. That came from him. It seems like they envied me and wanted to take my place. I was good to everybody, and I hate that they put me in a mix like that. Put all that shit on me. Here are some of the major perpetrators. Guys who got caught with way worse shit than me. And based on the sentencing guidelines, they should have been sentenced to considerable prison time. Take a look at the sentencing table and controlled substance schedules and decide for yourself. He puts the federal sentencing guidelines in his book, and then he talks about the deals everybody got. Dirt Rock, you came over to buy some shit from me. The next day, the apartment got raided. He's saying that that's not a coincidence. He talks about Menace. Menace, you were there and didn't tell me shit. You sat up there and worked with them people and crossed me the whole time. Lost your apartment, then you move back in my house knowing you're working with the FBI. You're wrong as hell. Got my cousin Big Mike 30 years. Wrong, man. Now you running around Baby and them in New Orleans talking about you ain't did nothing. That's why you're snorting all that fucking coke. You know what the fuck you did. You don't even have enough heart to come and tell me like a man. You thought you got away, dude. Sounds a little bit like a threat. Putting people's business out on the street. So that's Menace. Uchi. We heard a little bit about Uchi yesterday. Uchi. The federal agent was sitting up there talking like you, but you were my best friend. Did he steal your house? But you were my best friend. I'd been knowing you since 1965. I know you've passed away, but that was wrong, homie. Uchi didn't get out of this by the grave. Uchi's still getting called the fuck out on the carpet in his book. I know you've passed away, but that was wrong, homie. They followed you around for 2 months, busted you, and you didn't tell me shit. C-Ray. I know we've read this one before, but we're going to read it again. C-Ray. You got caught in Ohio. Not you. device. No. Sorry if I just triggered all of your devices. Oochie, Oochie is how he spells that in the book. I don't know. That's what he spells. C-Ray. Sorry, I can't say that more. The C to the R. You got caught in Ohio with 3 gallons of PCP and a kilo of cocaine and only did a year and a half. That's a hell of a way to start a sentence. The minimum sentence for getting caught with 3 gallons of water is at least 20 years. According to the federal sentencing guidelines and their point system, 3 gallons of water gets you 38 points. The first line of the sentencing guideline for getting busted with that is 20 years. 3 gallons of water and you only got a year and a half? You've been snitching this whole time. When you got raided on the Biggie Smalls raid, you were the only one they raided that knew the inner workings of our business like that. I knew you were snitching. You told them everything, dude. You're wrong, homie. Now you're sitting up around my family acting like you ain't did shit. Bitch, you know what you did. Then you have the nerve to ask my son, is everything cool? It will never be cool. You fucked up our life, bitch. Then you got on TV and said that the dog had the gun in his mouth. Nah, homie. I got the Freedom of Information Act paperwork. He FOIA'd your ass, C-Ray. This is why C-Ray's not at his house, by the way. This is why he's not around. He FOIA'd. Nah. I got the Freedom of Information Act paperwork. The gun came out of the flower pot in your backyard when they raided you in 2001. You can get on TV and say what you want to say. You know the truth. I was real good to you. I had your back and all that, homie. When dudes didn't want you around, I told you to come on. I had you. The Reaper. We heard about Reaper the other day. The Reaper. Reaper. Sit up there in a fucking prison and do your fucking time. Trying to get a transfer on me? Come on, homie. You're wrong, homie. Then you talk about how I didn't send you anything? Oh, what? You didn't send him any Sean John drawers? You didn't send him a noodle? Nah, he didn't send Reaper shit. Then you talk about I didn't send you anything? God, they gossip more than anything. Everybody knows what everybody says about everybody. Of course I won't send you anything. You did a lot of foul shit. The first day I went to the feds, the day before Lane got killed, the feds told me how you set us up for a robbery. They had your grandmother's phone tapped. I know everything about your ass. You're a snake. Out-of-towners. He goes off on the out-of-towners. I don't even think I can redact that well. Virginia Beach gets called in, and he calls them weak-ass bitches. Nameless. A Game of Thrones fan or nah? Nameless. One dude who shall remain nameless, but you know who you are. You got caught out in St. Louis with 14 kilos. Man, 14 kilos gets you an automatic minimum sentence of 10 years based on the federal sentencing guidelines. How the fuck did you only do 2 years after getting caught with 14 kilos? It would take an act of Congress to get off with the shit that you did, unless you're cooperating with the government. Nameless musician in the chat said, I feel called out. Not you. Not you. Nameless musician in the chat's like, I've never even been to St. Louis. Leave me alone. Boss man. Boss man. You kinda did me wrong, bitch. Kinda. Only kinda? You kinda did me wrong. You teach me some shit, but it seems like you teach me to beat me. And then you go around saying Keffe D is snitching. I saved your life. You and the dude I introduced you to. I saved both your lives. They had your asses punished. You just don't know, bro. But it was behind me. They had all of us. Boss man, you already know that you can come in, that they can come in and destroy your life. I chose to save lives rather than destroy lives. Keffe D actually is in fact the savior of all. I saved 48 people from getting indicted. The Fed sent some dude from DC to get me, and y'all simply fell into the pot that was already cooking. And when you got out, you fell right in like a big target. He's talking about out of prison, not out of the pot. He's conflating analogies. It seemed like they were waiting for that to happen. I saved your life, and I think you ought to thank me for that instead of trying to put salt on my name. And then he goes on to say, on the pages with the bullet holes on them, and then he goes on to say, at first I was mad about this whole situation. Chat. At first he was mad? My dude. At first you were mad? You're still mad. You're still mad. Maybe some EMDR. You're still mad. You're going to have to work some of this shit out in custody. You said the book was therapeutic, but I don't think we're done with that yet. At first, I was mad about this whole situation, but I'm free now. As time goes by, I realize I was offered the deal of a lifetime. They were going to punish our asses. I would never have said a word if they didn't give me such a sweet deal. They didn't give you a deal. They didn't give you a deal on the Tupac proffer. I didn't have to do a day of time, saved 48 people's lives, and I didn't tell on anybody but myself. Well, that's just facts. Everybody else was already dead. Think about it. I didn't tell on anybody else but myself. So, he definitely has some salt for people. And we did see one witness say, yeah, Keffe D took a lot of this on himself. And that's come back around on him. So, oh boy. Earl Grey Teal says, how does his CRI fit into all of this? Well, the thing is that he doesn't see himself as an informant because he was only talking about the things that he did. He doesn't see it as if he was talking about anybody else. So he doesn't quite agree with him being a CRI, except for the time he wanted to go after Biggie and Zip, but they didn't go down. So I don't think he feels like it counts because nobody went to prison. He's probably still pretty fucking pissed about that. Probably still mad about that, actually. Yeah, probably super mad about that. Christopher said, thank you for the distraction. This week has been devastating. Sending lots of love to Tennessee. Christopher, thank you. It has been. And, we're here in another trial where it seems that we're just living within the audacity. Just the audacity. The absolute unmitigated audacity. But also, there are a few things in this trial that haven't sat well with me either. First, the Greg Kading book and putting out information from the 2008 proffer, that doesn't sit well with me. Doesn't sit well with me. Would that have changed what Keffe D did down the road? Maybe. Is that an appropriate method to tickle the wires or to try to see what Keffe D is going to say? No. No, putting it in a book and a TV series and a movie and the rest of it? No. Putting his name in it? No. No, it's not. I don't like it. Second, In that 2009 interview, the end of that 2009 interview, where they're confirming again, no one offered you anything. No one promised you anything. You're just here of your own volition to have a conversation with us. At that point, it did not sound to me like Keffe D was 100% on board with that representation, and his lawyer, Higgins, kept cutting him off. And I'm real curious about what that conversation with Higgins was. Because no matter what you did, you deserve a lawyer that's on your side. One person that's on your side. And the way that he and Higgins were interacting, I really don't know if Keffe D completely appreciated the potential repercussions of just sitting down with Las Vegas PD and telling them again what they had told LAPD. Why did he need to do that? Because they can't easily use what LAPD said against him. Las Vegas needed their own interview. And Dupre kind of tried to warn him. I don't like the behavior on the part of the lawyer. I really don't. And he talks about the lawyer in his book and said that they had known each other for a really long time. And when lawyers do not act in the best interest of their client, it might be apparent from the way I have covered other things, it ruffles me the wrong way. It doesn't matter what your client did. If that's your client, do the best you can do for them. Sometimes the client doesn't like it. Sarah Boone seems to be one of those clients where I think the lawyers were probably trying to say to Sarah Boone, hey, so you saying not intentionally over and over isn't going to save you from a second-degree murder. So we need to talk about the reality of this situation. And I imagine Sarah Boone's response to that was, you just don't understand. Not intentionally. And they're like, right. So that's a second-degree murder. And in Florida, you can get life for that. So we need to discuss how to not get you life based on what you did. And I imagine Sarah Boone didn't like those conversations. Sometimes clients do not like hearing the real. But I don't know what the fuck Higgins was doing. And I don't know why you bring your client in for that conversation with zero protection. He had zero protection. I didn't like that at all. However, they still didn't prosecute him after that conversation. They still didn't go after him. They didn't come after him till 2023, and I wonder why. Higgins is in the book, but Higgins is in the book. Higgins doesn't get the burn book treatment that everybody else does. He just talks about the fact that he and Higgins have known each other a long time. He doesn't really have harsh words for Higgins at all. But it's odd, and he's not around to ask anymore. So it's one of those things that raises a question for me. But again, it doesn't undo the things that Keffe D said in his own book. And I don't know if that interview ever would have come back round if he hadn't written the book. And Dupree actually seemed to be sitting there looking at Keffe D, just being like, look, man, you've already told us. So just, if you're going to talk to us, just be consistent. And I don't know, when Dupree testified, it felt to me that there was a lot that he was not saying, especially about Kading. But I think that Dupree, I think that there's, and this is purely speculation just from watching this in this trial, I think that there's stuff that doesn't sit right with him either. And if you're Dupree and you're still in the middle of the Biggie investigation and your former, partner, task force partner drops this book like a fucking grenade into the middle of your investigation, I can't imagine that went well for him. And in his testimony, when he's like, I was trying to make sure that the witnesses who talked to us were okay, it burned that whole task force to the ground. And I think we will probably never see the investigation into Biggie go any further because a grenade got thrown into the middle of that investigation with that book. and that doesn't sit well with me either. That's not the kind of book you release until everybody's gone. That's not that you don't release that until everybody's gone. That is a manuscript that you can, you give to your grandkids and have them publish it after everybody involved is gone. You do not publish that in the middle. But I wonder if we've got some similar personalities between Keffe D and Kading. And everybody just wanted to, I don't like it. So there's some stuff in here. There are definitely some aspects of this case that do not sit right with me. But also, back from that Fed interview, Keffe D has been absolutely consistent. Absolutely consistent in what he said about what happened. And I think that there's more that he knows that he hasn't said, but it's the truth. And I think there's a lot of circumstances that Keffe D can't put behind. And there are people that I'm sure have wronged Keffe D. That he's like, if you had all just kept your mouth shut, we all would have been fine. That actually might be true. Because I don't think Suge was ever going to go to the feds and say, no, I saw Keffe D in the car. If he was going to do it, he would have done it back then. He didn't. And it's really interesting when we get to the end of the day that the person who never really turned on Keffe D was Suge. Isn't it interesting? Suge, whose name he can't get out of his mouth, who he's known since he was a kid. And I really am curious, just because Keffe D is so mad. And I don't think it's all just about his nephew. What went down between him and Suge before he decided to work with Bad Boy? Like, what went down there? Because everybody else, when they got popped, flipped on Keffe D. And Suge's been arrested for other shit since then. Suge went to prison really shortly after all this happened on a probation violation. Didn't say, let me tell you who was in the other car in Vegas. He went to prison and did his time. I'm just wondering what went down. Yeah, I'm just wondering what went down. I don't think we'll ever know. I think they know. I don't think we'll ever know. Northwest said, Emily, who do you think was the target that night, Tupac or Suge? I think both. But I also think that I absolutely think Suge was a target. I think Suge pissed him off more. He definitely has more emotion towards Suge. But I think both. Because I do think that they saw this as, A, you're wrong for jumping on my nephew. And we've been offered this money. If that's true or not, you let me know if you believe it. But I think the money was a bonus to them retaliating for what happened to Orlando Anderson. And you can see how mad he still is about it. He's still mad about Suge and Tupac jumping Orlando Anderson. There were others there. He's still mad about that shit. He's still mad about it. I think the money was, hey, we're going to take this dude's money for the thing we're going to do anyway. And then they never collected it. So, but yeah, I think that he was not just disrespected about what happened with Orlando Anderson, but he was offended on another level. He's talked about it in his book. He's talked about it in other interviews that he and Suge were cool and that Suge should have just come to him if there was an issue with Orlando Anderson. I don't know if Suge knew before that night that there was an issue with Orlando Anderson, because one of the guys that was with Suge and Tupac that saw Orlando Anderson in the MGM was one of the dudes at the Lakewood Mall. I don't know if they knew. I'm sure they knew what went down, but I'm not sure if they connected the dots of who was where and what. And then the dude in their party was just like, that's that motherfucker from the Lakewood Mall that grabbed my death row chain. Grabbing the death row chain is also disrespectful to Suge. So Keffe D's perspective is, we should have handled that. We should have handled that shit. And I think he was absolutely just as mad at Suge, if not more. I think he was more offended by Suge. Suge has a book coming out. I've heard it too. We're absolutely going to be looking at Suge's book, because now this has become the Lawnerd Book Club. Because who knew how much reading material was required for this trial? But yeah, I'm going to take a look at Suge's book. I will absolutely take a look at Suge's book. And then after, maybe on Friday, if they get through jury instructions pretty quick, we'll take a look at some of the interviews Suge's given from custody while this trial's been going on. I'll keep it in mind. So yeah, I think that Keffe D still feels disrespected in all of this, and still feels like people don't understand his side. And what's interesting to me from reading his book and then from listening to all the witness testimony that we've seen, the van that Keffe D was in when they initially went to the 662 Club, it seems to me like the group in the van was really trying to de-escalate and saying this has gone too far, because I don't think they wanted to shoot Tupac. And I wouldn't be surprised if they liked his music. And even though they were probably mad at Suge about the Orlando Anderson stuff, I really have to wonder if the group in the van was like, hey, let's just go after the other guys that were in that group when we get back to Compton. Let's just deal with the rest of them. We know who the dude at the Lakewood Mall is. Let's just handle it with him. Like, he's the one that started all of this. Let's just handle it with him. I really think that based on everything we've seen, they didn't want to go after Tupac. And they knew that that was going to make everything way too fucking hot. And it did. And a lot of people died in the fallout of that. So, yeah. And Keffe D was like, no, fuck that. He says they weren't out looking for Tupac. I don't know about that, because I don't think that Tupac was leaning out the window. And I don't know if he heard people yelling, Tupac, Tupac. Because I believe the witnesses in the Sebring, and it was earlier when they were hollering at Suge about where they were going. And the witness who took the photo didn't hear anybody or see anybody hanging out the window. And I think they knew exactly what car he was in. And they saw that car. So I think there's some distancing about whether or not they were actually cruising around looking for Tupac. I think that they probably were. But maybe they weren't. Maybe they were going to party and just happened to see the car, but I think they recognized the car. It's a pretty recognizable car. I think they recognized the car. So, yep. I guess we'll see. But I think that the jury's going to want to read this book. So that's where we're at, guys. We're getting into the defendant's case tomorrow, and then jury instructions. Jean Louise says, is Keffe D's Count of Monte Cristo? It's Keffe D's Count of Monte Cristo revenge book. Yeah. I don't think it helps that he refers to himself as, like, likens himself to being gone after, like Saddam Hussein and Noriega and Trump. I don't think that helps him in this case, amongst other things. Craft Text Rachel said, EDB, I assumed Keffe D heard the photograph guy who was talking to Pac in the car and asked for the photo. I think that was before, because he got in the back of the group and I don't think the cars had crossed each other yet, but it might have been. What's the name of the book that the Compton Gang Unit police officer wrote? Once Upon a Time in Compton. Once Upon a Time in Compton. There's some other books I didn't catch. The book that Kathy wrote, The Killing of Tupac, might be the title. It's the one with the photo on the front. And then we've got Compton Street Legend. Under protest, I got Kading's book. I'll go through it probably over the weekend and let you guys know what I think. And then Labyrinth, which is the basis for City of Lies. I actually haven't seen City of Lies, so maybe that needs to go on my weekend list. But I haven't gone through this one either. I think it focuses more on the death of Biggie, but now I got questions. And well, we're back in court tomorrow. So I want to see, well, I really feel like this is now background reading for Suge's book, which we will definitely be talking about when it comes back around. So it's, this trial is just unexpected. This trial's been unexpected. How has it been for y'all? It's been unexpected for me. I didn't think the defendant talked nearly as much as he did, and it's wild. Emily, do you think you could get Keffe D out of his... Me? No. But I also don't view things through that lens. I am definitely not a defense attorney. The only thing to get Keffe D out of this predicament was to shut the fuck up at the beginning of it. The problem is, for Keffe D, that once he started to figure out who was flipping on him, he couldn't let it go. The disrespect was too much, and he could not let go the people that flipped on him. And I think the Kading stuff pissed him off, but I think he was more hurt by the people he was close to, like C-Ray, that were doing undercover buys. They weren't just telling the feds what they know. They were the ones doing the undercover buys that the feds, that the task force used to get Keffe D in the room to talk. That was C-Ray, who he was super close to. C-Ray walked into his house with money from the feds to buy cocaine and PCP. And that was the basis for the case against him. So they were not just talking. They actively did the undercover buys. The way he was willing to do to Von Zip. He didn't feel like he had any loyalty to Von Zip at that point because it was fine for him. He didn't feel like he had any loyalty to Von Zip and to Diddy because they didn't fucking pay him. So he was willing to wear a wire, go in there and get whatever information. He's like, what's fair is fair. But he clearly feels quite wronged by the people who were working with the cops and walked into his house, looked him in the face and bought drugs from him and then turned around and gave him to the feds. Right. Because they knew him. So with all of that, Charlie said, do we know who pulled the trigger? There, my other light finally came back on. The defendant said it was Orlando Anderson, and people have said it was Orlando Anderson almost since the night it happened. But it's talk. So do I think it was Keffe D? No. I tend to take the testimony of Dupre on that because Dupre knew the players involved in this well and had sat in the room and talked with Keffe D for hours right across from him. And Dupre's like, based on everything I know about these people, based on everything I know about everyone involved in this, I do not think that Keffe D would say that about his nephew if it wasn't true. And I believe his word on that, and I believe him on that. So, how much time is he facing if convicted? Life. And even if he gets less than life, it's going to be life because he could get 50 on the low end, but life. Do you think the jury has enough of a consensus on a life sentence? I mean, the jury has to be unanimous, but the jury doesn't get to decide the sentence. The judge does. The jury has to be unanimous on, well, really, the defendant, do they believe the defendant's own words in this case? The defendant's telling you what he did. Do you believe him? And if they do, then it's aiding and abetting murder. He's early 60s, 63, what have you. Yeah. So do I think he'll get life? Yeah. Do I think that will be based on his own words? Yeah. The juries take the defendant's words seriously. The weight of what a defendant says, in my experience, carries more weight than just about anything else. And the defendant said quite a lot. Quite a lot. And ending with the defendant holding up his book and being like, you want the real truth? Wrong book, Emily. Wrong book. You want the real truth from the real motherfucker? Spend $20, get my book. That ending with that was a pretty good call. It's a pretty good call to leave the jury with. We're going to leave the links for those videos down below. I have not seen all of those interviews that we're linking, so buyer beware on that. I don't know. I haven't watched them all, but they're in evidence now, so I guess we get to watch them because the jury's going to get to watch them if they want to. And so we'll see. I saw one more question. I don't know if Nightbot might have grabbed it. There might have been capitals in it. But do I think, wait, where'd it go? I saw a question. I was going to grab it. Let's see. Oh, do you think Keffe D is the only player in this murder? No, everybody in the car could have been pot for aiding and abetting, and probably Zip as well if they had all that information at the time. But they can't go after anyone else in the car it would be difficult to go after anyone else on the car just based on Keffe D's words. Keffe D's words are the strongest against him. Making cases on other members in the vehicle would be tough. I think going after Diddy would be tough, if not impossible, because I don't think there's any corroboration. And I don't know what else are in these case files. Maybe my mind will change after I read the Kading book, but I don't know what else is in these case files. I don't know everything that was found in those raids. But they would want more corroboration than just Keffe D said you did this. Keffe D said Keffe D did this is much stronger, and there is enough corroboration, I think, for that. It's up to you. What do you think? Do you think there's enough corroboration? Because we had a lot of other witnesses that saw this shooting go down, saw this car go down, and there were details that Keffe D knew and told law enforcement that had never been public. So, there's that. Whitesend in the chat asked Emily, would Vegas have delayed prosecution if the feds wanted to use Keffe D for a RICO case for Diddy? I think the feds are too late for a RICO case for Diddy regarding this. And would the state have delayed prosecution? Probably not. Would the feds have even told the state that they wanted that? Probably not. Would they have grabbed him on something else? Maybe. But if the feds wanted to use Keffe D, and this again is just my opinion, if the feds wanted to use Keffe D against Diddy, their best time to do it was when they had him on cases and when they had him in prison. So I don't know. But again, I don't think it would have been as easy to go after Diddy then. But they didn't do a very good job when they went after him now. But if the feds had all of this and didn't bring it into the case they went after him for, they didn't add any of this into the case where they went after him. And they went after him about Bad Boy Records. None of this came in. If they wanted to use Keffe D in the Diddy trial, he was sitting in custody. They could have used him then. They can't do it now. Let's see. The Lauren said, EDB, were you ever upset or scared when a defendant was angry at you? Upset, no, because I understood. Like, it's really easy to understand why people would be upset. Like, I get it. Only scared when my family, when there was concerns for my kids. So there were scary moments, but we also had police protection on the house, and you know exactly who's mad at you when they're mad at you. So I tried to treat every single person that I interacted with like they were a human. I tried to understand where they were coming from. I treated it as I'm doing my job. I didn't make things incredibly personal. And people didn't get super personal with me. Even when I did large cases that involved gangs, there were times where I was prosecuting a person, their cousin, their siblings, their uncle, and everybody. So, but also it's just hey y'all. So we have all of these cases, and also you're selling drugs in a school zone. There have been a lot of shootings in this area, right at the elementary school. What we can't have is bullets flying while kids are on the playground at lunch. So we're going to go ahead and prosecute all these cases. I'm doing my job, but we're not. This is not okay. But also didn't make it personal. I don't know if everybody always felt that way, but there are definitely cases where people were mad. We had defendants try to bring weapons into court. We had cases where we had one case where the jury asked to be escorted out immediately after the verdict came down. Yeah. So we've had some tough cases, but you know what you're doing. You know the job that you've signed up for. You don't always appreciate, I think, the stress that you might have signed up for in your 20s and how that feels different in your 30s and later 30s and 40s. It changes a bit. And there's times where you feel a bit more vulnerable. So yeah, some of that did change for me after I had kids, because the concern of people going after my kids for what I did for work was a struggle for me. But we've talked about that at other times. It's a different kind of vulnerable. And I worked with prosecutors whose kids were taken to school by police protection for years. And there got to a point where I'm like, that's going to be tough. And then all the back surgeries. So, but in all the cases I prosecuted, some of the most concerning defendants were in the fraud and financial crimes realm, because they're not going to come at you face to face. They're going to fuck shit up in different ways. And so those were different things. But some of those are stories for another time. So, did you know you wanted to be a prosecutor in LA? Yes. I knew I wanted to be. I grew up in LA. So it was, I grew up in LA. What I didn't anticipate was being a very young prosecutor on prosecuting in my courtroom on a sting operation and having people I went to high school with coming in. That I didn't really think about all that much. That got a little awkward. I was like, we're going to need to have another prosecutor on this case. I'm going to just not. We're going to not do this. Disclosing to the court that one of the officers on one of my cases was somebody I dated in high school. I didn't consider that when I worked in the area where I grew up. Didn't consider that. Didn't think about it. The judge laughed. The defense attorney laughed. And I was just like, y'all really don't have to make it weird. It was high school, but it would be weird for me to do this preliminary hearing without letting all of you know we have not seen each other in more than 10 years, but also I'm just being forthcoming. And the judge was just like, give me a minute. Serious? I'm like, we were in band together. Fuck off, Your Honor. Seriously. You're just going to sit here and laugh at me? Yeah. They just made it so weird. They just made it so weird. And I'm like, disclosing it is the right thing to do. Also, does it impact my job? No. But if the defense has an issue with it, then we can change DAs. But I'm glad y'all think it's so funny. Wonderful. It's wonderful. So, Yeah, but then again, when you work with people you enjoy and you're gonna get teased sometimes, it's just like, okay. Laura, would it be an ethical issue to prosecute someone I went to high school with? I don't think it was an ethical issue, but it was real fucking uncomfortable based on what the whole sting operation was, and I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with it. Punt immediately. I didn't want to deal with it. Nope. I noped out of that so fast. Would it be an ethical issue? Probably not. Is it somebody I'd seen since high school? No. Was it somebody that I was going to text on the weekend because I knew them? No. But I noped out immediately. I was like, this is awkward AF. This is awkward, and I'm not doing it. Nope. I'm out. I am out. I'm out. So, no. Hey, Dr. B. What time? It's 6 o'clock. You're home early. Okay. You look very handsome in your all black scrubs. We're done with court for the day, so we were just chatting. Do you want to come say hi to chat? We were just wrapping up. We were just wrapping up. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Made it through,
Busy day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all a good day.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just stare at the chat.
Yeah. You got to look that way so they can see. If you just look at the chat,
you are
they
so
can't
much
see.
better at looking at the camera.
Obviously. Not all the chat has been on our members only with Dr. B.
No.
The prosecution rested today.
Really?
I know. I'm surprised too.
I thought it would have gone longer.
I thought so too.
Did the defense already rest?
No, the defense didn't have any witnesses ready today. So apparently the defense has witnesses for tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't think the defendant's going to testify though. You know why? Because you can spend $20 and buy his fucking book if you want to know what he has to say. You can buy his book.
Maybe someone will just get up there and read it. Like, page 5.
Chad, I do have to tell you, yesterday, Dr. B got his beard trimmed. And at the end of court, came in and was like, do you like my beard? I got my beard trimmed. And I'm like, I do like your beard. We have been looking at beards in court today. And tried to explain the beard from court to Dr. B. Yeah. And couldn't explain it properly. I'm going to have to just pull up a
if
screenshot.
I didn't have to wear a mask at work, I would just, full on.
Now, are you able to get through the workday without touching it constantly? Because the prosecutor in this case, his fingers are always in his beard constantly.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Well,
yeah.
Because you have a mask on.
Yeah.
All right. It would be very,
yeah.
The last thing you want is the person working in your mouth touching their face all day. The chat's going to be triggered. Don't touch the beard.
Yes. And then you get the beard oil on your fingers, and then it's just...
Maybe that's what the prosecutor in this case needs. Maybe he just needs some beard oil. Beard oil. Maybe that too. Maybe he just needs some beard oil. And that's why he's constantly touching his face.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a little chapped. It's fair. Vegas is kind of dry.
It's a little dry underneath there, a little dandruffy or something.
Lolly asked, what episode of Supernatural are y'all on? We're in season 4. I don't know exactly which episode we're on. I need to go look. We're midway through an episode.
Maybe episode 4, right around there?
We're not too far after the Eye of the Tiger episode, which is one of my favorite episodes.
I forgot how good that one was.
Yeah. And now the cat's here. All right, it is time.
It's a whole 90s educational process for
Griffin. Yeah, it's been fun.
Bye, chat.
I'll be right out, B. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Do you want to take Fred with you?
No, keep him there. Chat wants to see Fred.
Fred would like to go with you. Fred keeps leaving glitter on my microphone. All right, chat. Dr. B is like, we're ready. So, law nerds, good to see you. I can't believe how quickly today ended. Hi, Fred. I know. I can't believe how quickly today ended either. We'll be back in court tomorrow. Make sure you have the Law Nerd app. And I guess we're gonna see if Keffe D's self-snitching got him. That's what we're gonna do. I know Dr. B was home. Dr. B was home early. It was nice. It's nice. So we're gonna go get some dinner. We're gonna watch some Supernatural, and we'll be back tomorrow for the defense's case, the prosecution's rebuttal, and well, whatever happens next, because who knows? Fred, we're wrapping up, dude. Streaming is dynamic. Law nerds, you're the best. It's good to see you. I can't believe how short court was today. Closing arguments on Monday. Jury conference Friday. So let's, well, I guess we're getting ready to wrap up this case. Good work, everybody. Good work. Good to see you. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Thanks for being a law nerd. Thanks, Team Baker. I'm gonna go watch some Supernatural and take a deep breath. It's been a busy few days. You're the best, law nerds. Thank you, Team Baker. We will see you guys tomorrow. Fred, are we done saying goodbye, Fred? No, we're not. We're not. Okay, Fred. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see what the defense case in chief brings for us when we get back to court. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you don't miss a live stream or any of the updates on the cases that you care about most with the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. It's a free download on iOS and Android, so I can keep you in the loop. Because you never know when something's going to pop off. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a Law Nerd.